Hey there and welcome to another video from our Ranger studio here from Chiang Mai, Thailand. And today I'm talking about one of my favorite topics, and this is vision. So I would say leader without vision, this is like a car without petrol. You are not going anywhere. So in this video, I want to share how important the vision is, but much more it is about creating a vision and to seeing, hey, how can I really implement this vision into my work? So this will be a workshop what you can do with your whole team so that you really start working on your vision. So let's roll the video directly after the intro. A leader who has a vision, hey, these are powerful leaders because they have always something to share and their direction is so clear. They are following a goal and they have their agenda. So once you receive a vision and you have this vision in your heart, you really can put all your leaders on fire. So for me, it is always like when I see men of God with a clear vision, this is so inspiring. And you can be such an inspiration. And I love to say, like, whenever you have a vision, this is like petrol in a fire. It will bring an amazing explosion. Please don't try this, by the way. But this is the case. So let us be really leaders who are full on fire, and let us be ranger outposts who are full on fire, because even as a ranger outpost with a vision, well, you can put the outposts who are next to you, the other church, you also can really put them on fire, that they also catch up that and say, wow, we also want to create something for us, and we also want to have the vision quite clear in our life. Let us jump a little bit into this topic and see what is important to have a vision. A vision is always born out of two different areas. There's on one side, we have the need, and on the other side, we have the motivation. Let me give you an example to both areas. I see right now there are a lot of young people, they are going crazy with TikTok and Instagram, whatever, because they see, hey, there is a lady on TikTok or Instagram, she has millions of followers, she's making so much money. And this is motivating a lot of young people to say, oh, I also want to be a super famous star and making millions of money and just drinking nice coffee and making some funny videos. So this is an area what can motivate people and where people start getting a vision and dreams about their big Instagram or social media care. But there is also the other side where we see young people, they are hearing in the news, oh, the global warming, and they are seeing how weather and everything is changing. And they are seeing this need, and now they are starting to change. They go on the street and demonstrate and say, hey, we really have to change things. They are starting to changing their habits and everything. And people are really getting a vision and say like, hey, we really want to change something on this world. We have to come together, and they are pushing so strong forward. So this is an example, like to see how a vision can be created positive, but also how a vision can be created out of a need. So let's talk about how you get a vision. And here now I will focus much more on spiritual principles. So my first part is to say God puts a vision into your heart. And this is really like the amazing thing. If you wake up in the morning and you say like, wow, you received a dream from God, something happened and God put that into you. So if we go to our Raw Rangers, Johnny Barnes, he received a vision from God. So God gave him this dream and he spoke to him quite clear and said, Johnny Barnes, start Raw Ranger work. And he gave him this whole emblem and explained him everything what he should do. So this is The first thing, how it could happen, that God really gives you a clear vision and you have this from God. The second thing is that you get a dream maybe out of the need of something. So Nehemiah, he got the vision once he heard about his city Jerusalem, and he heard about the need there. So he started to pray, and then the vision went into his head. Of course, God was also pushing into that, but he started really taking this vision for himself. And the third part is also that a person can put a vision into your heart. And this is something where what I was sharing in the beginning, leaders who has a vision, they are impacting others. So we see a lot of churches, they are growing so strong. Why? Because there is a pastor with a clear vision, and many people, they love to join this church because they say, this vision is amazing and I want to be a part of this vision. So this is also something, especially now to all the commanders, to the pastors, when you're hearing that, this is something what we also want to create, what we want to bring in the vision to other people, and we impact them with that. And now let's have a look into how realistic does a vision has to be. Well, a vision is a vision and it doesn't have to be realistic, as long God is really with you and he says, yeah, this is good. So there are the things you have to check also with God. Even if you have your own dreams or whatever, you have to ask God and let him confirm and say like, yeah, this is a good and this is great. But a vision can be something really big and something huge. So there are some people that receive a vision, but they will never finish the vision in their whole lifetime. So for example, the Brooklyn Bridge, there was an architect. He built this bridge in New York. So he started to plan everything and create everything. But you know, the sad thing was during that time when they built the Brooklyn Bridge, things were not so fast. Today in China, they build such a bridge maybe in 2 or 3 years that everything is done, or even faster. But in that time, he didn't see the results of the bridge, because everything what they were doing working under the sea level, they were working in the water. So think about this man. He had a vision to build a bridge, but he couldn't see the result. But what happened? He passed over the vision to his son, so his son will continue working on that. And even he couldn't finish it, so his wife took later over. And this can be something, just what shows us. A vision can be something bigger, what can be even give from one generation to the next. Even Moses, he received this vision, hey, take the people out of Egypt and bring them to the promised land. But he never went into the promised land. So he had to stay in the desert and went up to God. But that he couldn't see how this vision got fulfilled. So we can be clear about that. A vision can be also something big, as long the most important thing is that we really talk with God, and it is 100% in the will of. So let me give you one example for some people who got a big vision, or actually a big task. And that was the disciples. When Jesus left in Matthew 28, we see how Jesus told them, hey, go and preach the gospel to all the nations. And during that time, well, there was no internet, there were no flights going from Jerusalem to all over the world. And this must have looked like, wow, how can we do that? And it looked like super big, super huge for them to say, how can we start this vision? But still, they started that. And now I would like to give you one example how we can also calculate a vision, and that it gives us an idea like how amazing things could be. So I love numbers, and let me give you this example. Think about it. What will happen if on the whole world only one Christian will be? But this Christian, he will find one person and he will share the gospel to this person, and he will train this person for a whole year. So he will take every day like 1 hour time to do Bible study with him, to teach him everything. So I mean, you will agree with me, even like after 300 hours Bible study, this person will be already quite strong in his spiritual life. And in the next year, they decide, okay, now we will spread ourselves and everyone will look again for a new person. We will bring him to Jesus. And after 1 year discipling them, we will do exact the same thing. We will spread again and we will disciple again. So this happens. So after the first year, it will be already 2 persons. After the second year, it will be 4 persons, and then it will be 8 persons, okay, right fingers, and then you will have 16, and then you just have a look now to this calculation, how many years it will take, and the whole world will be reached with the gospel. And this is only if 1 person will start sharing the gospel. So actually, this doesn't sound so hard. This is something where everyone will say, well, we could reach that, we could do that, but still, yeah, we didn't reach the world. Maybe we have the wrong strategies. Maybe there are also sometimes other things who are not going so easy. So why I'm doing that? I'm just doing that to show you with such a strategy, we could reach the whole world in 33 years. Isn't this amazing? Please, you can calculate it by yourself. Maybe if you have another result, please leave a comment. But otherwise, it's just easy math, okay? So what I want to show you, a vision can be really big, but still there is a technique, we call it, we break things down. So we break it into smaller pieces. So have a look to this slides, and we call it, this is the elephant slicing technique. So whenever I will tell you, you have to eat an elephant, okay, so no discrimination for elephants. I know especially here in Thailand, elephants are quite holy animals. But in the Western world, we use this phrase because elephants are so huge. And once you want to eat an elephant, we don't eat elephants. Be relaxed, okay? But it will be too much. But what we say is, if you want to eat one, you have to slice him into small pieces. Then it will work for you. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And the same thing is, once we have a vision, for one person, it will look maybe like too big and too huge. But once we take it and we break it into different pieces and we give every piece to different people, different department, then it will happen and then it can work. So this is something where we always have to think about. Even if you as a commander, you have the big vision, you need your team around you, and everyone has to understand, what is my part of the vision and what is his part of the vision and what is he doing for the vision so that the vision will be fulfilled. And vision is something, it is really for a teamwork where we need people carrying this vision. The next thing where I would like to focus on is how to receive a vision. Maybe you're sitting here as a pastor and you say, oh, Basim, we already have a huge vision and our vision is so clear and we definited everything. Please don't put off the video, still finish it, because I still would like to share some ideas in the end, also how you still can communicate your vision and work with this vision. But especially for all the people who say, well, I don't have this vision for my life. I don't have this vision for my church or even for my outpost. So for you, I want to take you into a plan with different steps how to receive a vision. So step number 1 is take a day and call it the Vision Day and invite all your leaders and explain them and say, we would like to have a vision. We would like to build and create this vision. Maybe you're looking today this video because this is your Vision Day. If this is the case, hey everyone, I want to welcome you to your Vision Day. So it is good that we also start saying, hey, this is our Vision Day. And you bring all the people together and there is nothing else on the agenda. It is only about your vision. And we say all my focus, all the energy goes into this vision. So the next thing what you will do on this day is that you will have a good time of prayer and also worship. And this time for prayer, you should not hit down all your prayer lists, all your prayer needs, but much more, you should start really asking God and saying, God, we want to hear really 100% what is your will. And take your time in the worship also that everyone can receive. Give time for God that He can talk to you and that you have also an atmosphere where you can hear the voice of God. So this is quite important. So once you have that time, you can come together and you can share already and you can ask, hey, did anyone receive something from God? Was there like a voice? Was there something where God was talking to someone? Or even sometimes just an idea what someone put in your head. Okay, so this is one of the first topics what you will do. So the second thing is that it will be good if you as pastor or you as commander, you also get some information. What is going up in your city? What is going up in the neighborhood? And especially not only the night thing. Maybe you have a talk with the police and you just ask them and say, hey, can we know what is our situation in our neighborhood? Where are the needs? So that you talk about the needs and you understand, well, there is something going on in our city. We have so many children who comes from divorced parents. We have a need. There are a lot of children just growing up with the mothers and everything. So we have to understand the needs. You know, sometimes we Christian, we live a little bit in our nice bubble. We have some nice Christian friends around us. All the families, everything is still working. And we just go like this through the world and we don't see what is happening actually in our cities. But this is good that we hear about the needs in the city and that we can really start to think about that also. Let me share something how to get a vision. And I love, there is a method, it's called the Walter Disney method. And this is, it comes from Walter Disney, the creator of all the Disney movies. And so what he did when he started his business, he thought like, oh, I would like to have a movie what goes like an hour or even longer. So now we have to understand in the 50s, 60s, when they were doing these movies, there was always persons, they were sitting there and they were drawing everything. Not today, we have AIs and a lot of other tools who are doing a lot of this work, but that was all manpower thing. And for having a 10 minutes video, well, that was like a year work for a lot of people. So when he was thinking about, hey, how can I create a bigger movie? What he figured out a method where he had like one room, he called it, this is the room where I'm just dreaming. And in this room, everything was allowed. So he didn't put any rules where he say, I cannot dream about this and I cannot dream about that. So after he created all these dreams, he went into the next room and this room looked completely different. And that was the realistic room or the process room. So he started to think about all the dreams. How can he bring them into processes, how he can do all these things? So he figured something out and then he took it and then he went to the last room, and that was like the realistic room and the question mark room, because then he was really more like the critical thinker, and he was thinking about like, hey, does this work? And if I want to have that, what do I all need to do about this, and what do I need to do about that? So he was doing this always rounds and rounds and rounds till his concept was perfect. But what I really love about this visionary guy is that he had one room where he said, in this room, I can dream. And there is no stop for my dreams. So this is something where I would like to take you in as leaders, that you take your time and that everyone can share. that really everyone can share what are your dreams. And if your dream is like, oh, we want to have an outpost with 500 children, that sounds good. And if someone else will say, well, I am dreaming that we as a Royal Ranger, we will create a kindergarten or a primary school, well, write it down. This is your dream. And if the next one is saying, well, we want to have a training center for our Royal Rangers or whatever, write it down. So everything is allowed. And then you can, once you have all these streams, you can also go into the next step and say, hey, what could be realistic? How could we do that? And then even you go into the third room. So this is something you should do, and you should have a lot of time for dreaming on this day. So once you have these dreams, share them, and please share them freely. One important thing is, if you're doing the workshop, your pastor should be always included in your vision brainstorming, in your vision ideas and everything. Because sometimes also the church, they already have their dreams, their vision, and their agendas. So this is so important that you also build this up. So this is something where you can start with now, where you can jump in and starting to dream. So I will say now we will have a break, and I will give you now this first task to do that. And you know now already, okay, you start with your prayer time, you have that, you have a talk after that, and after that you continue with just building up your dreams, okay? And then I will see you directly after the break. Welcome back after your break, and I hope you had a good time where you heard the voice of God, and also where you started sharing your dreams and the first ideas. So now what will be the second thing? You write all the things down, and it is not important that you say like, hey, today after this day, we already have to have a 100% result. Sometimes to get a vision or to bring it down to a paper to define it, it can take you also like a year or even two. And I would say even it is better you wait 1 year or even 2 years, that you have a final definited vision where you say, this is our main vision, this is where we want to go. Then you start every 2 years, oh, we got a new vision, we got a new vision, we got a new vision. You know, this doesn't make you really liable, because the people will think like, okay, this guy has 1 year this vision, the next year he has this vision, and then again another vision. So it is good to take our times. Let us have a look to Nehemiah. What were he doing? So when he received the message about Jerusalem, he took his time and he was praying 40 days and he was fasting. And first then he was talking to his king, and then he went and did something. So sometimes we also need time before we start with our actions, where we really ask God, where we pray, and sometimes there will be correction. So it could happen after 1 year you come together and someone had this idea with the school and everyone say like, we don't think this is still on our agenda. It's not good. But if you come back and everyone say like, wow, we are still so on fire. We want to have a school and we want to have this kindergarten and we want to have this and we want to have that. So then you realize something is happening. The vision is really taking its place in the hearts of the people. And you also have to find an agreement with your leaders to say, like in the beginning, we are still in the brainstorming area where we don't want to share everything to everyone in the church, but much more work it out as team. And once you say, now we have the vision, then you write it down. So when you write the vision down, try to get it in short paragraphs, not like a whole page or whatever. As shorter it is, as much better it is. So, you know, like Martin Luther King, that was a statement. I have a dream. Bring the vision down to a short paragraph that everyone can memorize this. And it is so clear. It is not about having hundreds of words, but having clear words. See, Matthew 28. go to the whole world, preach the gospel, and then teach them to obey, baptize them. So it is so clear. There's like, yeah, this is one sentence. It is everything is in. So something like that you can build up. And once you have this vision, the next step is also to start thinking about a timeline. If you say like, oh, you really have this vision to disciple and you have like a discipleship school then for your ranger where you will send them out and they will start new outposts or whatever, well, then put a timeline where you say, okay, when shall this happen? And other steps, what we have to do before we come to this vision, like other like smaller goals we first have to face, and once we have them, then we can come there. So this is also important that we have all the steps. So for a big vision, there will be like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And this you shall put down, and you also should work on a timeline. And this timeline, again, think about Walter Disney. You think it through and you also think what is realistic. But on the other side, you know, as Christian, we also have to ask God and say, God, even if it's not realistic in human perspective, but we also, if you showed us that, so we also want to have the faith and we want to believe that you will be there and that you will give the success and everything will work because of your blessings. So also keep this in mind. We are a spiritual vision carrier and God is with us. So what should be against us? Amen. So the thing is, once we have our steps in between, we have a timeline. Now you can think also about how can you use a picture or whatever to bring this vision even into a better into the head of the people. I shared already in another video the story what I had back in my outpost in Germany. So we had a vision, we called it the bicycle vision, because the vision was so easy. We said, we want to build up so many outposts that children, they can always come with the bicycle just to their next outpost. And the parents, they don't have to drive them because it will take them like it's far away and they have to use the car. So for the bicycle vision, I just got an old bicycle, we painted it, we put a ranger flag on it, and I gave this a quite good place in our ranger room so that everyone who came in always saw this bicycle, because I wanted to have everyone remember this bicycle vision. So maybe you find something where you say, wow, this could describe it, or even you paint a picture or whatever. So do something like that. And once you have that, and as I said, it doesn't have to happen in one day. It can take a year or take 2 years till this whole process is done. But once it is done, then you also talk it through, that you share this vision in the church and everyone knows about the vision. And then you can work with this vision and you can go ahead. Okay, that was everything what I wanted to share with you guys about building up a strong vision. And I know this workshop can take a little bit longer for you, but I'm looking forward still to hear from you, your feedbacks, and also your inspiration, what you have, what you figured out during this whole workshop and this process thing. And most of all, really my prayer is that you receive a vision from God, that it is not a human-made vision. And it is not about our ego, but much more that we receive something from God where we know it is all about His kingdom. It is about build up His kingdom. It is not about building our own empire or something like that, but much more we want to serve God's kingdom and we want to see how everything grows through Him. So hopefully hearing from you in the comments, and then later see you in the next video. Have a great day and God bless you.
Thank you for watching this video. We hope it helps you to build up a strong outpost. If you find the content valuable, please like and subscribe to our channel. Another way to support our work with Fall Rangers in Thailand and internationally is by donating. You'll find the link in the description down below. We appreciate your support and looking forward to seeing you in our future videos.